information, the beach is surprisingly dangerous. Consider the...
Hi everyone, my name is Jem, and just to let you know, today I'm in a silly mood. So let's all hang out today and just watch this video. A content cop on Ethan Klein? I mean, who can have a problem with Ethan?
That anybody who says anything, they will attempt to ruin their lives. And once again, I'm the crazy one. It's not bad enough that I have this group of people.
What we do here.
Now, we're gonna watch this because what's interesting to me about this is Ian, aka Idubbbz'S, and his wife Anissa were friends with Ethan and Hila. And now he's making a content cop on Ethan? A video series that he ended and deleted from his YouTube channel and said he would never do again? How could a friend of Ethan backstab him in such a way? Alright, let's watch and see what happens. Shout out to all the sparkling jewels in the audience. Full disclosure, I've been out of the loop with the H3 podcast for about a year, but I'm getting back into it now. All in all, I like Ethan and Hila in the H3 channel. Alright, let's
What's
go.
up, everybody? I'm Hassan Piker, and it's the Hassan Broadcast coming to you live from a cloudy day here in California, Los Angeles. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. I have a very important announcement. I finally done it.
What'd you
I watched
do?
Ethan Klein's content nuke.
Okay, even I haven't gotten around to watching that, and I'm an H3 production fan.
And I'm not going to call it context puke as I normally do because the reality of the matter is it was brilliant. Nothing was out of context.
For real?
Everything was correct. I am an Islamist, fundamentalist, radical terrorist. I am a vicious anti-Semite. It's true.
That's it, I'm sold. Now I have to go watch that video.
Most importantly, Ethan is more attractive than me, both physically and also mentally.
Now that you mention it, Ethan was looking quite sharp the other day.
I've been lying about everything, including my glasses. They're fake. He was right about that. That's not even in the content nuke. And he was
Wow.
right about that too. How did he know everything? How?
How?
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Ethan,
Oh,
wake
he
up.
was being sarcastic.
Wakey, wakey, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Wake up. Time to be awake, Ethan.
Wakey, wakey. Wakey, wakey.
This is no longer
wakey,
a dream.
wakey.
This is a nightmare.
Wakey, wakey.
Wake up.
Ethan, the dumb bitch is telling you to wake up.
Wake up.
Ethan, wake up. Wakey, wakey.
Wake up,
Wakey, wakey.
Ethan.
Wakey, wakey.
Wake up.
Wakey, wakey.
Wake up.
Party over here, what you doing over there?
Just wake
Party
up.
over here, what you doing over there? I don't want to play anymore.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Who are these
I'm
people?
not gonna do a react content yet.
The only person I know here is Hassan.
Nobody's telling you to wake up, Ethan.
Ooh, yummy. I love Sabra hummus.
Time to wake up, Ethan. Wake up.
Ethan.
Wake up, Ethan.
Wake up.
Wake up, Ethan. Just wake up.
I'm at a loss for words, you guys.
All right. I didn't plan on making a content cop on H3. It sounds very stupid even saying that. H3 content cop, Idubbbz'S. Ethan Klein's out of control. And then you should do a content cop on Hassan Piker. Content cop on Sargon of Akkad.
So he didn't plan to bring Content Cop back out of retirement and do a video on Ethan Klein, his friend, okay. So what broke the camel's back?
If I would imagine this in 2016, I would have been like, oh yeah, if I ever do that, it's gotta be because I lose the plot.
You think?
Well, it turns out it's not me losing the plot, it's Ethan. He's the one who fucking attacked first.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
Now, if you're new here, I have a long-running series on frenemies, and I have a playlist where I keep up and keep track of anytime Ethan and Trisha mention each other. So I was aware of this video a couple of weeks ago, only because he did mention Trisha in this episode. So I did hear Ethan going off on Ian, Idubbbz'S, and his wife, Anissa.
All right, guys, I'm going to tell you a story about Ethan Klein. I know some of you have been following him, but there's a lot of people who might not be familiar with the background, with his podcast, with what's been going on over the past couple of years.
If you do videos on Ethan, you're going to find out quickly that he looks goofy in most of his pics online. I'm surprised Idubbbz'S found this one.
So Ethan, as you know, is a content creator who has a podcast where he says all sorts of outrageous stuff. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's fucked up. He's had shows with all sorts of different controversial characters.
Wait a minute. He said sometimes fun. He should have said funny. Because if you watch H3 podcasts, it's going to be because Ethan is funny, right?
He's had a show with Trisha Paytas. He's had a show with Hassan Piker.
See, case in point. Look at Ethan being all goofy and funny right there.
In doing so, he's gathered a ton of different audiences. Now, in his podcast with Hassan, Leftovers, they would mostly talk about surface level progressive shit and make fun of right-wingers.
And you're telling me he didn't flick their dick once at least?
Oh, that's 100 shavers, you trans women. I say, oh no!
I don't know what Hassan is talking about, but that hat gets me every time.
And it was mostly that until they actually had to reckon with a very serious topic. I would say that Hassan was very well equipped to talk about that topic.
True.
Palestinian people living in the West Bank are subject to these horrific conditions, horrific living conditions by the state of Israel, America's greatest ally and the only democracy in the Middle East, if you ask Republicans and even liberals.
What, the dancing?
Go Ethan.
Okay, God.
Catch the beat.
Israeli settlers are trying to evict Palestinian families in occupied East Jerusalem. The United Nations says that may be a war crime. It literally is.
I was just eating the toppings. And the pizza looked like a burn victim. It was all disgusting.
I don't know if you can make that joke in 2021.
Why?
It's insensitive to burn victims.
I think it's a good analogy. It's a powerful image.
Ethan was not prepared for this. Ethan, the whole time, is more of the goof guy.
Wait a sec. What kind of guy did Bobby Lee say Ethan was again? Wait a sec.
But what I'm saying is that that's what you are.
No, dude.
That you're a gotcha guy.
Oh yeah. Gotcha guy. Ethan is the goof guy and the gotcha guy. Got it.
And that's fine, you know. We don't expect Ethan to be an expert on the topic.
Everybody knows that Ethan is not an expert on the topic, but he actually lived in Israel, so it's not like he had zero knowledge of the goings-ons.
Ethan was obviously caught in this tricky situation where he is extremely sympathetic to the Israeli cause and what's happening to them.
And the Palestinian cause, because I remember a long time ago, Ethan would mention it.
His wife's Israeli. She served in the IDF. He obviously likes the state of Israel.
Really? Before October 2023, do you know how much he used to goof on Israel and the Israeli people? He'd goof so hard to the point where I'd get nervous. And for someone like Ethan who jokes on everything, I never once heard him joke on the Palestinian people. I'm just saying.
On the other hand, he's just got done capturing a massive progressive audience who are very politically savvy. They follow Hassan. Hassan is strictly a political streamer. So this is something they're very keyed into.
Going with what Ian is saying, if these new people are first and foremost just political, they should realize that Ethan is going to bring the comedy wherever he goes. So I think Leftovers was supposed to have that balance with Hassan as the serious guy and Ethan with the joking around. So if Hassan left and his people are still there, why put yourself through listening to a straight comedy show if you want to listen to something political? Maybe Ethan is just not for you, and that's okay.
So when they see Ethan say things that are just like not accurate and it's just propaganda, they're gonna call it out.
From the river to the sea essentially means the state of Israel is going bye-bye.
So this massive progressive audience that Ethan has, adopted over the years, they're becoming increasingly critical of his position because now he's talking about it not on Leftovers, he's now talking about it on his podcast.
Yeah, okay, because leftovers is over. Where else is he supposed to talk about it if not on his own podcast?
What I want to do is show you guys how I see Israel, because you don't see that. When you listen to Hassan and you hear all these fucking mega lefties talking about it like it's some super racist, crazy, like Jim Crow style of society. Like, I can't wait to show you guys.
I haven't seen the episode where this is from, I guess, or the episode Ethan is talking about where he's going to show people the other side of Israel. But again, I can't even be mad at him because, like I said before, he used to goof on Israel and Israelis for years on his channel. So if he now wants to show his audience another side of Israel, I'm not mad at him for that.
The other day, BB fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about.
So Ethan is having this back and forth with his liberal audience, leftist people online, progressive content creators, Hassan, all of these different people. He's finding new people every day, basically, to get in fights with.
Yeah, that's Ethan, the guy who loves to get in verbal fights with people. How is this different from what Ethan has always done? Now, I'd understand if Idubbbz'S didn't know Ethan, but they've been friends for how long now?
Of all people, this guy, Matt Lieb, Frogan and Denims and all these dipshits, and everybody thinks this guy's awesome, apparently. Even though he looks like Millhouse, fucking dork.
Denims, by the way, was the real villain of the video. Evil, hateful fucking... And I'll say it and I'll double down on it. And people... Oh, no? Did I not go there?
Yep, we get it. Ethan likes to beef with people, and now it's political beefs. Okay, so...
And it's all culminated, at least for my story, in Ethan burning bridges with people until he burned the bridge with me.
All right, finally, we're here. Tell me, Ian, what did Ethan do to you? Because those other people you showed, I doubt that Ethan was friends with any of them. Ethan is your friend. What's your problem with him that you had to bring Content Court out of retirement?
Since Ethan and Hassan's falling out, I've been keeping to myself mostly.
Why?
I don't have many nice things to say. Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help.
From who? His friends? Like you?
Maybe if he stops harassing other creators. Maybe if he does these things.
Hold up. Ethan's harassing people? Is he harassing people or doing videos on people? What exactly is Ethan doing?
People, this guy, Matt Lieb,
Frogan and Denims and all these dipshits, and everybody thinks this guy's awesome, apparently. Even though he looks like Millhouse, fucking dork.
Denims, by the way, was the real villain of the video.
You're mad Ethan's calling people names? You want him to stop calling that guy Millhouse? Does this deserve a content cop? For real?
Eventually he'll find peace and we can rekindle our friendship.
I thought I was missing something, so I went back to watch the first part of the video again, and the weird thing is that I'm not missing anything. What is this guy's complaint?
So that's been my approach. I've occasionally thrown a joke Ethan's way in the form of Hassan Piker versus Ethan Klein for boxing.
Jokes, I love jokes. Let's read this joke. Idubbbz'S tweets, Creator Clash 3 needs a headline fight. Here are the options. Ethan Klein versus Hassan Piker, Hassan Abbey versus H3H3 Productions, and Vape something versus Hank Pecker. I'm looking for the joke. What this looks like to me is a guy who's starting a boxing tournament for YouTubers that's looking for big YouTubers to fight in his tournament. Where's the joke?
I like Idubbbz'S. He's a good guy, but I don't like this tweet. Stupid. It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. And also he's way out of my weight class.
All right, Idubbbz'S, you got it. There's the joke. Ethan with the save.
He didn't like that, but fucking sometimes you gotta just throw something out there. I used to work with this video editor named Froggy Tonic. I discovered him because he was in the circles online that I was in. And one of those circles is an H3 fan.
Okay, on March 25th, 2022, Froggy Tonic says, Brett is like a force of nature, mentally and physically. Good luck, AB. Favorite of the H3 crew. Hope y'all come out undamaged.
He watched Ethan's content.
January 25th, 2023. Shout out Dan from the H3 podcast. for noticing the little Alfredo cam. Hope there's another H3 watch-along of Creator Clash this year.
He liked Ethan's content.
June 14th, 2023. This is pulled as is from the latest H3 pod where this genius tries to defend her blatant grift idiocy to Ethan. This is art. Like, look at the timing and switch, even if coincidental, pure art. The H3 crew has something so blanking precious, I am telling you, absolutely goated.
Until he didn't like Ethan's content.
May 14th, 2024, Froggy Tonic writes, what I saw is that Ethan is very much prone to anxiety and stress, and having loads of people on his head was a lot. He didn't leave room for self-questioning, instead going in instant defense mode because it challenged too much of his belief and experience. Feels fair, but immature. Well, what I see, no offense to you because these are just the quotes that Idubbbz'S cherry-picked to represent you, but I don't see an Ethan fan here. I see someone who is a fan of the H3 crew, which was highlighted multiple times. And then the one time Idubbbz'S picked for you to show criticism is directed directly at Ethan. If anything, I would say that Froggy Tonic is a Idubbbz'S fan and a big fan of Creator Clash, but I don't see an Ethan fan here. I see a fan of everyone but Ethan.
There would be an occasional Froggy tweet where I'd be like, I agree with that, you know? Like, I'm not gonna endorse it, I'm not gonna retweet it or like it, but fair enough.
Okay, let's see what Froggy tweet you agree with. Ethan Klein, do you really think putting yourself, your crew, and your audience in a semantic competition over a petty year-old I'm right, you're wrong obsession you cannot get over is the right strategy? Stop tormenting yourself, man. Listen to Hassan. Right here again. I see a Hassan fan too, and not an Ethan fan.
I guess I just missed my old friend. Some wings are too bird feathered colored.
I'm sorry, but really, who is Froggy and why do we care that he has beef with Ethan? Is there a point to this?
Now that brings us to February 28th of this year. Now my former editor of a year and a half ago did say some truly mean shit. He called Hila the C word.
Alright, that was 0 to 100 real quick. Potty Mouth Froggy Tonic wrote, Hila Klein, how do you think you are morally above us all when you're just judging people based on where they're from? Okay, first of all, Yav Galant is not a good guy. Palestinians don't learn to hate Jews at 2 years old. And you know all of that. Oh my goodness.
He said they're trying to kill their dog with cheddar cheese and a bunch of other shit, I'm sure.
This was recently, Froggy writes, just learned 2 years before Ethan's dog's death, some H3 fans voiced concerns for his chronic vomiting, pointing to kidney failure. Got shunned by other fans, Ethan declined the advice, stayed course, cheese as treats. Fast forward, dog dies of kidney failure at 6 years old, lifespan 13 years. Okay, really. This guy never really cared for Ethan, and now he's just finding anything to pile on Ethan. Buddy, you cannot like Ethan. That's fine. You don't have to justify it, because when you're picking things to justify your hatred of Ethan, you're coming up pretty short. Alright everybody, hate Ethan because cheese and a dog, because someone on the internet said so. Everybody hate Ethan. Guy, just hate Ethan. Who cares? You don't have to bring us all into your hatred.
Ethan, at some point, discovers that Idubbbz'S former editor says this horrendous shit about him and Hila.
Okay, you know what? Really? Let me not read anymore and put this guy on, or girl or reptile on blast, because who cares? And when I say who cares, I'm saying I don't care. And if Ethan and Hila have a problem with this guy, they have reason to, but I don't care enough to talk about it here. I want to know what Idubbbz's reason is, not this Froggy person. Reptile, excuse me.
But no one's asking the question, where does Ethan get this information from?
You know when they say there's no such thing as a dumb question? Never mind. Just never mind.
You see, it would be very obviously a problem if Ethan was discovering this content by scrolling through Twitter looking for something to upset himself with. He has maybe set it up in such a way where his employees feel the need to send him this information, and that would be horrible.
Okay, but you just said maybe. Therefore, you don't know how he's getting his information. So, what's the problem again? You have an issue with how he may be running his company? Okay, let's resurrect Content Cop.
They shouldn't be doing that. They should be sending you things that are entertaining for your show that don't fucking trigger the hell out of you.
Show me the evidence.
Why is there so much work being put into discovering this guy on Twitter who's barely getting any interactions, linking him to me and posting on the Reddit, when there's no work being put into who the fuck is the person on the Reddit who's posting this in the first place?
Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? So this whole thing is in defense of Froggy. I'm sorry. Who's Froggy? You're mad someone pointed out that Froggy wrote something on their public socials? Okay.
If you do a little bit of research, it seems like it's an account whose intention is to make Ethan crash out. One of the users on the Snark Reddit points this out. They're like, I've seen this account before. This account has scraped its history.
Someone wrote a month ago, this account is a lifelong Destiny fan who deleted his post history and started solely posting on H3 Pod a few months ago to manipulate that community. He posts non-stop on Dalaban Twitter, usually harassing whatever their newest target is. In this case, it was Ludwig and QT Cinderella. This is who is manipulating the H3 community, the head mod of Destiny's harassment group. Ah, that Destiny! He did it again.
And it's now trying to make Ethan burn bridges. This is within Ethan's own community. Like, this is the thing that he needs to be critical of. It's not me.
Yo, what a snitch. It's not me. So now you want everybody to go harass Destiny? Who cares if Ethan wants to burn bridges with Froggy? I should title this video, Who Cares?
So yes, I am willing to admit that my former editor was being very nasty, uncharitable, and fucked up towards Ethan and Hila on Twitter. But
catch the joke. This guy by the name of Idubbbz'S refuses to say a good word about Ethan and Hila as people or about their parenting, even though he's been around them and in their home. Yet, he brought Content Cop out of retirement to defend the character of some unknown person named Froggy. Catch the joke.
Ethan and Hila are doing the same shit on their podcast. So, I don't want to fucking hear it.
Supporter.
The CEO of Twitch.
File.
I don't care. If you spent the summer dancing to Not Like Us last year, I don't want to hear it. Don't act like calling somebody a pedo is so egregious when it's a party song now. Not for me. For you.
Now I'm going to watch and respond to the two podcast streams where Ethan and Hila call us spineless cowards.
But did they lie though?
Anyway, this guy was saying shit like that Hila's a Nazi, that she kills kids, that she went on like, she's at like a IDF base, or all this types of shit.
I know people in real life who watch my videos because I talk about frenemies, and through my videos this year, within the last month, they've watched my videos, called me up to ask me, does Hila kill babies? You guys, this really is a thing. I'm having people in real life asking me, thinking it's true. People really are lying on her.
And that's showing up right up on Anissa's and Idubbbz'S feed. My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
You don't know what's on my feed. What the fuck is happening? For all you know, I only use the For You tab. For all you know, I only use lists. For all you know, I'm seeing these things tweeted out by my editor of a year and a half ago and saying, God, that is nasty.
You just said, for all you know, 3 times without giving a clear answer to Ethan's assumption of you. Could that be interpreted as spineless?
I'm just not gonna throw someone away because they're having a parasocial weird moment. Just like I'm not gonna throw Ethan Klein away because he's having a parasocial weird crash out.
See, he's trying to give the impression that he's being neutral between 2 friends, having a disagreement. Yet, Ian is calling Ethan a crash out, giving him goofy edits. Why aren't you goofing on Froggy the same way when you talk about Froggy's issues?
How many women I fucked? Hassan, by the way, thousands. Yeah, thousands. Let me ask Galia. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Hassan's the type of dude who watches himself in the mirror when he has sex.
Watching me on a 30-second delay on your stream.
Wait, how does he know I'm watching already?
Because you've been talking about it for the last 5 minutes.
It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like, this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry.
There are many people, I'm sure, who have unfollowed you for the things that you have said and done. And I'm sure there are even more people who have stayed following you because they don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. They don't want to throw someone away because they've had some hard moments. We're all fucking human.
Yep. That we are. Except Froggy.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
And what you're saying to me is that I'm a bad friend and I'm a piece of shit. I'm spineless. I'm cowardly because I am following someone on Twitter.
Wait, what? Is that what Ethan said he was mad at Idubbbz'S about? Because I thought it was the whole CPS thing.
Because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group. It's not bad enough that I have this group of people harassing me and everyone in my life. It's that people outside of this group, journalists, creators, are actively participating in this gaslighting to make it seem like I'm fucking crazy.
I mean, I don't know what he's getting at here. Like, yeah, people are gaslighting you. A lot of people gaslit me when I apologized. That was actually like the #1 type of harassment I got, was people gaslighting me and taking my newfound woke ideology to its extreme.
I was almost a part of that crew. I did a video on Idubbbz'S too, and then at the last minute I didn't release it because I felt sorry for him because people were like making fun of his video. See here, look at the date and you see this is from a year ago. Look at my thumbnails.
I probably done and stood by Idubbbz'S and Anissa more than anybody. I've stood by them when all the internet hated them.
I don't like that Ethan brought this up because
it makes you look bad?
It makes the relationship feel very transactional.
Oh.
Like, you know, we're just meant to support each other online despite our own personal morals or principles.
But I'll say this, I don't think they're fucking any friends of mine. And certainly I don't think they're any fucking friends of mine based on the text conversation I had with them too before I even talked about it.
Okay, right there. Ethan talked to you before he went on air and cut you guys off publicly. So what's the issue again? You already knew it was coming.
So I have nothing. I don't need any fucking halfway friends, man.
Ethan's right. Halfway friends are dangerous. I don't know how Ethan and Hila are with their children. You, Idubbbz'S, have been around him with his children. So if you're not going to speak up on his behalf, how can I speak up on his behalf? Yeah, he has to cut you off because if anything, you staying silent is only lending credence to that they are bad parents. He has to cut you off. He had to.
I thought the text conversation that I had with him was very empathetic.
Said the man with no empathy.
I basically just said, like, I know you and Hila are experiencing a ton of harassment, and I essentially empathize with that, and I think...
You guys, he used the word empathize in the conversation, so that meant he was empathetic. He's learning. Baby steps.
There's something positive to get out of the conversation. But he refused to talk on the phone unless I was willing to publicly say something about my former editor and denims. As much as you don't want halfway friends, I also don't want that kind of halfway friend. I don't want someone who's going to give me like an ultimatum to have a conversation.
Hey, Idubbbz'S, Ethan only gave you an ultimatum because he's a little slow on the uptake, so far as not being able to detect when someone hates his guts for everlasting life. But when he finally realizes that someone hates him, he's gonna act accordingly.
Could you not say something when this is like, imagine like one of you guys is like, Hassan actually wants to go to Gaza so he can strangle Israelis. Or some shit like that. I'd be like, you imagine me not saying something.
This
You're
is a hypothetical.
To make a one-to-one comparison where there isn't one. This guy that I follow on Twitter is not...
Oh my goodness, why are we still talking about this reptile? No offense, Froggy. I don't know why he's directing so much energy on this editor. Idubbbz, you like Froggy better than Ethan. Cool. You picked a side. Just say that and end the video.
In the same relationship as you and one of your current employees who is streaming with you 3 days a week, 3 hours a day for the past 10 years?
There's a difference between someone who works for you, who you may be friendly with, and someone that's your friend who you don't employ. I should think you and Ethan would be better friends than the people you pay to work for you, right? You and Ethan don't have a difference in power dynamic. You're peers on YouTube who collaborated a bunch of times and became friends. Very different than the relationship Ethan has with his H3 crew, and presumably you with Froggy. And we're still talking about Froggy. Okay, Future Gem here. I'm watching this back and I think I'm kind of getting what this guy Idubbbz'S is saying. If Ethan can't tell his employees what to do, I guess he's saying he can't tell Froggy what to do because Froggy's his employee or ex-employee. But my main argument is that Ethan is telling his friend Idubbbz'S what to do. And he wants Idubbbz'S to speak up on his behalf. So Idubbbz'S speaking up on Ethan's behalf has nothing to do with Idubbbz'S telling Froggy what to do on his socials.
At one point during the stream, Ethan and Hila bring up Adam McIntyre.
Here
now,
we
Adam
go.
does basically the same thing as my former editor. He's critical of Ethan and Hila, and he is sometimes uncharitable and nasty towards them.
Actually, no, it's not the same thing. Adam, as far as I know, never worked for Ethan. Adam has been on Ethan's show before and has met part of the crew and is friends with a member of the crew. And Adam has been in communication with Ethan's mother. Adam and Ethan had a falling out. There's real beef between those two. It has no relation to Froggy.
Adam McIntyre needs to just disappear. That guy is a piece of shit, of the lowest order. I never even stood by him when he talked bad about Trisha having a kid and called him the spawn of Satan. He was supposedly on our side. I would never even co-sign that. I was disgusted by that statement too. I remember when he called her kid the spawn of Satan.
I never said anything
and
like
I was
that.
supposed to be cheering on, but I wasn't going to cheer that on. That's disgusting.
People who have a falling out and now don't like each other say mean things about each other. News at 11.
That he called her children, which is something we would never do, the spawn of Satan.
It's disgusting.
And
a piece of shit of a human.
It's just incredible who ends up being the good guys in this story. You know, it's really something.
Unfortunately, they never made a statement. They never said that they disagree with his statements about Trisha's baby until it's useful. What is it, 3 years later? You're talking about it like you were aware of it at the time and that there was some amount of pressure or enthusiasm for you to get down with that. And what it sounds like to me is that you did see it at the time and you were like, ooh, I don't like that. And you didn't endorse it and you didn't fuck with it. Huh. It's almost like that is a fucking identical situation to me.
You think I needed Hila to say she didn't agree with someone insulting her niece? Or does common sense not allow for me to believe she wouldn't agree with that statement without her having to confirm it for me? You're not off the hook, Idubbbz'S. Your situation is completely different.
It's just incredible who ends up being the good guys in this story. You know, it's really something.
So yeah, the reason I'm bringing this up is because they're trying to paint themselves as the good guys, and they're saying yeah, we strongly disavow things that are said, even about our enemies.
Wait a minute. When did Ethan and Hila ever say they disavow stuff even about their enemies?
Imagine one of you guys is Hassan actually wants to go to Gaza so he can strangle his babies or some shit like that. I'd be like, you imagine me not saying something.
When Ethan stuck up for you and when Hila stuck up for you, it was when you two were friends, not enemies. Just because you're no longer friends doesn't erase what they did for you in the past. Why is it so hard for people to understand that Ethan and Hila are wondering why it's so difficult for the friends they supported publicly in hard times won't do the same for them? Ethan, Hila, I'm sorry to break it to you, but your friends are phonies.
We are the most immoral people on the internet. Unlike Ian and Anissa, who are fucking keeping to themselves. Also, why the fuck does Olivia get the pass?
What a fucking asshole for putting you in that position, Olivia. You're friends with him. And you don't have to say anything, but like, what a fucking piece of shit. What a bad friend to put you in that position just for some fucking clout. It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with him? Which is total bullshit, okay? Olivia did not do anything. And
I want the pass. Do I have to be an employee to get that treatment?
Yeah.
Because then you'll just see me as an ally?
Huh?
Or is it because Ethan is afraid of wrongful termination accusations and lawsuits?
You think? A boss can't tell an employee who to be friends with. Do you seriously not understand why Olivia gets a pass? Is this Bizarro World?
And also, I don't mind putting my friend Olivia, who's apparently my real friend, in a terribly weird, fucking uncomfortable situation where you end up getting hate for no reason.
Also, don't frame it as like other people making it hard on Olivia. You're making it hard on all of these people. Please acknowledge your role in this whole fucking thing.
Hey, Idubbbz's, if you're friends with members on the H3 crew and are referencing things that they told you in confidence in this video, you are a piece of work, mister. Do what you want to do, H3 crew, but I wouldn't trust this guy with my secrets.
Like, it's crazy how warm Ethan is to Olivia and saying how Olivia is essentially just a victim in this whole thing.
It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with him? Which is total bullshit.
But me and Anissa are spineless.
Yeah, that's right. That's what he said. You're spineless. Ethan said that. I do detect jealousy right about now. Like, why is he so concerned with how Ethan treats Olivia? Yeah, Olivia, as his employee, gets a pass, and you don't. Deal with it. Look at his face. Look at his face. Do you see how much he's seething? You guys, this was like when Ethan said Moses didn't invent taking pictures of water, and Moses was ready to rip Ethan's heart out, Mortal Kombat style.
Ethan, your whole system is scrambled. My intention isn't to throw the employees under the bus.
Yes, that's exactly what your intention is, because that's exactly what you did.
Like, you guys serve as the fucking foundation for calling out Ethan's hypocrisy on the whole subject. And I know that you guys have probably pushed back against Ethan over the years. How often are you supposed to do that? Do you have to do that every fucking week? It kind of seems like it. And that's exhausting. I don't want to confront my boss. It's not my fucking job.
Wait right there. It's literally their job to stop Ethan. Literally.
To confront my boss and say, today's segment on rapists and pedophiles on Twitch was not like not my favorite segment to be a part of.
Yeah, friends like these.
Oh, yeah. And our other good friends.
Yeah.
Anissa and Ian.
Yeah, again, this is a clip I saw. I watched this one before.
Thanks, Anissa, for standing up for your girl. I actually stood up for you so many times, because, like, why would I not? It was crazy.
Yeah, why would you not? I mean, if that's truly what you believed and you weren't just going to use it later.
Like what, 3 years later? Question. Did Anissa stand up for Anissa? Because I remember Hila and Ethan doing most of the heavy lifting regarding that controversy.
Of course I was going to stand by you. That's insane. It's absolutely insane and disgusting. But now you choose to hang out with people that would have a problem with you if you defended me.
I can't really say much because I don't know their new friends, but if their new friends are followers, that's the absolute worst position to be in and the worst friends you could ever have. So if that's true, it's a major downgrade.
I'm not going to assume that Hila knows, but I'll say it for anyone who doesn't know. Anissa is half Lebanese and half Irish. For anyone unfamiliar, the Irish have been on the receiving end of a lot of oppression and genocide. On the part of the Lebanese, they've received a lot of oppression and attacks from the IDF. So Anissa is very well familiar with the propaganda and the shit coming out of Israel. Choosing now, out of all the times, to be like, please defend me. No, we're not gonna fucking defend you.
And there it is. Finally, the truth comes out. Idubbbz's, this is why Ethan called you spineless. The first time they asked you to stand up for them was when you were supposed to say this.
Anissa is very well familiar with the propaganda and the shit coming out of Israel. Choosing now, out of all the times, to be like, please defend me. No, we're not gonna fucking defend you.
And that's why they say you're spineless. You had to wait until you got a makeshift crew around you doing the Congo line to finally come out at Ethan and Hila? You and Anissa needed backup? It was 2 against 2. And don't say the H3 crew is Ethan and Hila's backup when you just said they were pushing back on everything that Ethan says. You and Anissa have been playing in their faces this entire time. I feel bad for them, especially Hila, because she did not see it coming.
Rudy was saying that Palestinians are taught at 2 years old to kill Americans.
Do we have that one?
Like just the other day, Bibi fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about.
He looked mean. I thought he was mean just because he looked mean.
No, it's not.
So yes, you caught us.
Yeah, they did catch you.
We're not gonna run to your defense when, I don't know, we follow people. We be following. That's one fucked up thing that you can say about Anissa and I is when we're on Twitter, we do be following.
So,
the problem.
Okay, if you want to hang out with those people and have no spine and not stand up for another girl that stood up for you, enjoy your new friends.
She's friends with people like Denims.
I know.
In her chat,
yeah.
Which I'll
she's
show.
friends with
Denims is
Denim.
actually participating in this whole Child Protective Service lie.
Yeah.
Which I'll
and if
show
you're
you guys
friends with
instead.
them, then you're seeing what they're saying.
Oh, I see what you did here. You forgot to take out the CPS line.
Denims is actually participating in this whole Child Protective Service lie.
Actually, you couldn't take out the CPS line because it would have cut off that sentence, which is the reason Hila went off on YouTube. CPS was called to their house, and you being fellow YouTubers with a big following who have been to their house and seen them with their children couldn't put a good word out about their character. Tisk, tisk. And again with the employee, hello, Ethan can't tell his employees who to follow and unfollow. Why don't you understand this? Between you and your wife, the two of you couldn't figure this out?
You'll notice that Ethan and Hila start talking about this Denims character. Originally, the complaint was about my former editor. He's been chatting shit about Ethan and Hila for the past year at least. They only care about it now because I guess it was spoon-fed to them via their Reddit.
So it's because they just found out.
Them. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, where we are friends with Denims, but I would say it's the same level of friendship that we had with Ethan and Hila. It's like kind of an internet friendship. We think that she's a good person like we think Ethan and Hila are good people. Kind of a tricky situation. How can you possibly think that they're both good people at their core?
Stop it! I don't believe you think Hila and Ethan are good people.
People can have crash out moments. People can say things that they don't mean. People can say things because they want internet clout and attention. I don't know, I think they're both probably guilty of saying things that they don't mean for internet clout and attention. Right now, one's a little bit more fucking nasty to me than the other.
See, this is how you can tell that Ian doesn't like Ethan. Look at how he describes Ethan. He thinks Ethan wants internet clout and attention. How about he just wanted a friend to vouch for his parenting? Is that too much to ask?
I just don't see how you can be my friend and also be friends with someone like that.
Well, you can't. So I already forgot about you.
I actually have a lot of friendships that are kind of that way, where it's like, you know, one of the friends doesn't fuck with the other friend, but there is someone in the middle who kind of fucks with both of them, but separately. Yeah, there's a lot of friendships that are like that. I'm not gonna make you guys like meet up and kiss or anything. I get it. You guys are in fucking, you're either my best friend who's deep-throating me to the base of my or you are Satan. You're the devil.
The last thing I said to Anissa, we were texting before I ever talked about it. She's like, I don't care about this guy. He's a nobody. And you know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, then you'll have no problem publicly denouncing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, the conversation ended.
She never replied.
Yeah, Anissa, what Ethan did right there was he called your bluff. No one told you to tell him Froggy was a nobody. So Froggy better not have a problem with me, okay? Because Anissa said you were a nobody. I don't even know you, and I called you a nobody. So yeah, if you're going to downplay your friendship to Froggy, Ethan's gonna ask you to denounce him. You set yourself up for that one. If the story is true, do you guys see how Anissa lied right there? She's over here telling Ethan that Froggy is nothing. Meanwhile, Idubbbz's is telling us Froggy is everything.
Ethan, you can't even phrase it in a way that doesn't make you sound like you're being coercive and shitty. Well then, you should have no problem publicly denouncing it, right? Does that sound like a friend? It kind of sounds like something a powerful villain would say.
There it is right there. He sees Ethan not as a friend, but as a villain. Duly noted.
But it was so funny how she immediately went to comment everywhere, like on our subreddit. She immediately had to comment like, "Oh, he doesn't work with us anymore."
Then
but that was it. That's all she said.
But then say that you don't.
Okay. Do you have anything else to say for your friends, though?
One of the reasons Anissa was so quick to clarify things in your Reddit is because your Reddit was already talking about who this editor is.
Okay, this is Reddit. Anissa writes, "That's not Ian's editor. That's someone Ian hired before Critic Clash 2, who did some editing but isn't working for Ian anymore and hasn't for a long time." Got it.
And they were spreading misinformation.
And then all these people, no idea who this person is. I don't follow Idubbbz's or have Twitter, but like, is it well known that this person is their editor? How could they think nobody would notice? And then the arrows, I would not have. OMFG, it's Dan. I don't know. I'm lost. Is this Froggy's real name or is this a new person? You know what? I don't even care.
That it was our co-host on our podcast, Uncle Dane. So yeah, the last thing we wanted is this guy getting pulled into this mess, and you guys don't give a fuck.
These people are so random. Why should we care?
Would it have been nicer and more supportive to say, we don't agree with the things he's saying and we support Ethan and Hila? Sure. Like, yeah, that would have been a nicer thing to say. Our silence means something. It means that we would like to pause this relationship until you figure your shit out. And then maybe we can find a moment in time, I don't know how long it'll be, but a moment in time in the future where things are a little bit easier to broach. I don't think we need to do it right now, but you've insisted that this is an important thing to address.
Yeah, because you waited this long to tell them how you really felt. When they had an issue with you, they told you how they were feeling. You only now came out to say something after they put you on blast.
I would have been perfectly fine with you not blasting me on your Instagram story.
Hit dog holla, I see no names, Dubbbz. But as the saying goes, if the shoe fits... Yo, these two are really mad. Ethan called them spineless. They are cheesed.
I would have been perfectly fine with you not blasting me and my wife on your podcast twice. I would be fine with you not brigading my comment section on my podcast that gets 3,000 views a week because I prefer to not to do harassment campaigns and instead talk about Vampire's Kiss.
At least say something like, he doesn't work for me, and I strongly disagree, and I support Ethan and Hila. The problem is
that she doesn't.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
She actually...
She thinks they have a point.
That's the problem.
Yeah, so go fuck yourself.
I agree.
Go fuck yourself. What about your girl?
Is something wrong with you? Hey, they figured it out. You guys don't like them. There's no more girl. There probably never was, at least not on your end.
This is what I'm talking about. This aggression that you're putting out into the world. What the fuck do you think we're gonna do?
Go behind Ethan's back and team up with his #1 op? He's so underhanded, but that's who Dubbbz is. Hate to say it, but he's still the same guy he always was.
You think I'm gonna fucking sit on my hands when you do this shit? Like, this is nasty. We had such a fair response to what you guys were going through. We don't support harassment. It's a bad thing, but it happens, and you're perpetuating it.
You fucking propagandist, lying scumbag supporter. He probably sets up a mirror and jerks off watching himself. Dan K. Clancy has a similar view on because Dan Clancy, the Nazi, fucking anti-Semite.
You can't expect other people to stop harassing you if you continue to harass people. Let's think about it on a micro level. Have you ever been in a comment section and found someone to argue with?
No.
It doesn't stop.
I mean, yes.
It can literally go on forever.
True.
If you don't want to touch grass.
I mean, yeah, this was kind of like a line, what happened today, that should never be crossed, even by like the most cynical, toxic people. It's going to have ramifications in terms of how I conduct myself. In terms of these fair weather friends who are, you know, so happy to be friends as long as they're getting something out of it.
Ethan, that is a rich thing to say. Like you're the H3 podcast, okay? There's a lot of friends of the show. There's even more fair weather friends of the show. Let's not get into this shit, okay? That is so bizarre and insulting to suggest that I was only ever being friends with you to get something out of it.
That's what it looks like.
No, I'm friendly with you, and I'd say I'm a light friend.
Ooh, Ethan, he graded your friendship with a Fantano light.
Because it's been pleasant hanging out with you. I've enjoyed your content over the years. And as of late, it's gotten really fucking shitty.
The truth comes out. Hila's just hurt her friends, won't help her out. And now, here comes Dubbbz poo-pooing Ethan's channel? You guys been hating for a real long time.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
Who else? Who else do we want to burn today?
Hey, who's next on the list?
Who else do we want to burn today? You're making it so fucking obvious that this is your emotional dumping ground. It's horrible. This is not what podcasts are. There was a way to approach this to say like, yeah, we feel hurt by you guys not saying something.
Listen, Hila and Ethan are type A personalities. They will never approach anything with a, yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah, we feel hurt.
That's not them.
You've decided to do the extra thing and attack. Now, in fairness, I am attacking back, but I feel very insulted and I feel defensive and I feel like I am speaking up for a lot of people who have problems with you and a lot of people who have been on the receiving end of your harassment.
It's so easy to be.
I'm not mad at you for saying something back and filming a video. The lamest part though is that you had to team up with a whole bunch of people to go after Ethan and Hila. That's why I'm looking at you funny.
For somebody. The minute they have to actually risk something to put themselves in under scrutiny, to sacrifice something personally to stand up for racism, then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I don't want to get involved.
And that's drama.
How much do you care?
I don't do drama.
How much do you actually care? Isn't that the whole point? Like,
I realize that Ethan and Hila are more scared now than they've probably ever been. I feel like anti-Semitism is a thought in their heads now more than ever. And it's not completely unjustified to be thinking about that sometimes. You guys are just hurt and you're kind of like dancing around and making very like loose, poorly thought out analogies for something that doesn't even apply to us. It's like me making this video is the standing up for something and it's saying, fuck you, you guys are being bad. You know, I don't think you're bad people, but you're being bad. You're behaving poorly. You're hurting people.
So yeah, this guy is mad that Ethan called him spineless, and he knows that's not a good enough reason to bring back Content Cop, so he's going to tack it on to what's going on in the Middle East. But really, his problem is that Ethan called him spineless. Why are you mad? Ethan called you that to your face before he went online and did it on his show.
I mean, go back to the civil rights. You think that the people who are like the white kids who are protesting with the black students, you think that they were just like not risking anything? Those kids who are marching with the black students and...
So in Ethan's analogy, he's the black student and I'm the white student, but I'm the white student that's not, you know, marching by his side. I'm not doing the difficult thing. You're gonna have to march on your own, black student.
Marching with the black students and...
I mean, why is it inspiring? Why is it inspiring?
Well, and it's the same thing, to bring it back to Hassan just because, but it kind of is the same thing. Like, I was thinking about going to Gaza until I found out it's dangerous. He's a total performative activist that doesn't give a single fuck about the cause.
It's been performed exquisitely. Harassing one person and seamlessly transitioning into harassing another one. If anyone's been watching for the past fucking year...
Not me.
I'm pretty sure they have a good idea of your feelings about Hassan.
Like people like Anissa are the perfect example because she's friends with these people. She's friends with Denims. Denims is streaming this story about our kid
I'll show that, yeah.
getting Giarda from the dog, whatever.
I'm sorry. I'll accept this take, this position from anyone except you guys. You have laid the groundwork for this type of streaming, which is watching people's shit and giving your unfiltered reaction to it. Why would you expect Anissa, of all people, to say something to Denims? Okay, so by that logic, we should be saying shit to you guys all the time. But I have a feeling you guys wouldn't like if we said shit like that to you all the time. Yeah, we've been respecting you as independent content creators. You can do what you want. We'll treat you as adults. Maybe we shouldn't have been treating you as adults.
She could say so much, and it would make her a little bit uncomfortable, right? It's not comfortable. She'll get a little bit of shit.
Yeah, just for
But
saying
that would be
Which
commendable.
And by the way, it kind of speaks for itself that saying, hey, their house is clean, they're actually good people, like that's going to get you shit. That kind of says it all, doesn't it?
There isn't a single person that I respect who would give a fuck if I publicly said that Ethan and Hila are great with their kids, Ethan and Hila didn't kill their dog, and Ethan and Hila wipe their asses or don't have giardia or whatever the prompt is. No one would care. The only person who would care is me, because I'm like, why did I tweet this out?
Wow.
I'm not tweeting out because I'm not your fucking lapdog.
Wow.
That's why I'm not tweeting it out.
Listen to that venom. There you have it, folks. These guys hate Ethan and Hila. Oh, you guys hated them so badly.
I'm not saying it to my audience because I don't give a fuck. It's not my business.
And that's how I feel about Froggy. But you made him my business.
That's, in my opinion, doing something that's
Yes, it
difficult
does.
and standing by your principles. That's the whole point. That's what makes standing by your principles admirable, is that it's not always easy.
Ethan, you have to remember who you're talking to. Idubbbz discovered empathy like 2 years ago, all right? It's going to take him even more time to even understand the word sacrifice and character and the word integrity.
Why are you saying that I'm not standing up for my principles when you don't even know what they are?
So tell
I
us.
Get, like, we're a little bit past directly naming me, so we might have gone off on a tangent. If you maybe accepted the phone call and we talked about it, you could have asked me, hey, what are your principles? And I can tell you the way I've been behaving is exactly in line with my principles.
You, my friend, need to go back to the drawing board.
Now we're going to talk about the BDS list. We're going to start off with Frogan because obviously this is like as bad as it...
Yeah, I can't do this to you guys. He's doing some list. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know who most of these people are. So we're going to skip this part because I don't know why he's making this part such a big deal. Or maybe I get it, but I don't know why he's regurgitating this information about who's following who. Nice chart though.
You'll be living with your parents for a lot longer, buddy. Yes, please, I want to be a good Jew. I'm a good Jew, please, guys, please.
That's fine. That was fine. Yeah, I don't think it was that
was fine.
big a deal.
The
Of all
button
the things,
is
that-
the best thing that
It always
ever
surprises
happened
me
to the
what you
H3
think
podcast.
Well, I looked at Olivia and she's like, yes, do it.
Now let's talk about the button. Ethan got this button, or kill switch, as a response to the controversy with Cutie Cinderella. He was not able to control himself in that moment, and instead of figuring out how he can change his behavior, he spent $20,000.
Dan and Hila were like, we would kill button that right now if we could. I can't change who I am.
I know. That's why the kill button is on its way.
That's it. See, exactly.
He uses the button for everything. If his jokes don't land, he's hitting the button.
It was being presented as if the Jordan crying thing.
I hit the button.
Why?
I don't think I needed to, but you guys were giving me crickets, so I panicked.
If he's insecure about getting something wrong, he's hitting the button.
But okay.
What?
Button for that? What on this frame could Ethan have responded to? Perhaps the country flag that he got wrong? Maybe. I don't know.
If he goes on a problematic tirade, he's hitting the button.
Before, look how sad. But yeah, it's not just that. Like their eyes are like big. I think you guys are wrong on this one. I think you guys are all wrong on this one.
I don't think he's unique in hitting the button. I think if all of us had buttons, we'd hit the button all the time. But if you don't have it,
This is
you
such a
operate differently.
non-issue.
You think
I already
about
did a
what you're
video
saying.
on
You maybe
this a
plan
couple of
for
months
your show a
ago.
little bit
Buttons
more.
are
You maybe say,
used in
"I'm
the
not going to
entertainment
have
field
my
for live
podcast be
broadcasts.
an
This is
emotional
nothing new,
dumping ground
folks.
for today."
Nothing
You
new at
instead
all.
say, "Ooh, it's important that we stay on topic." Also, the H3 community and Ethan himself use the phrase goblin mode all the time to excuse a lot of his shitty behavior or make it seem less bad.
I've been diagnosed with goblin mode, actually.
By claiming that what happens is he just gets into this like uncontrolled state he refers to as goblin mode.
I do not call myself
This-
goblin mode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what you did.
Goblin mode? Is that what you're calling Tourette's now?
To all victims of goblin mode, I would like to issue an apology.
Well,
You
you are
got there.
goblin mode today. You're goblin mode. Look how many times you paused the
I'm
fucking
trying,
video.
bro.
And I don't think there's no room for using the term goblin mode. I like the idea that you're defending yourself and the little guy by going goblin mode when a big corporation or a big entity is trying to attack you.
Like, if you fuck me over, if you steal money from me, if you patronize me, if you do any of this shit like you're trying to do to me, to treat me like a fucking idiot, I'm crazy, dude. I've gone fucking goblin mode over way less.
I remember, man, this episode was so funny. Yeah, someone stole $600,000 from him. That's why he was acting like that.
But you not thinking about what you're saying, not, reflecting on your behavior, not changing your behavior, that's not goblin mode. That's being a child. Let's talk about the crew.
Uh-oh.
I think the crew has been put in the worst working environment that you possibly can be for a fucking podcast. Every crew member has it bad. To be around Ethan, period, would be a nightmare right now.
I'm standing by every fucking syllable of that, okay? What she did was abhorrent. And by the way,
Just don't. Listen, your critique of her is correct. It's just, people are sensitive about women being called that word. And so...
like, how pathetic are you?
You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm not assuming his pronouns. And fuck all these people. Go ahead.
No,
and I'm
no.
not yelling at you. I'm just...
Kelly is a black woman, right?
Yes.
Maziel is a
Korean.
Oh, Dan, come on. You're being such a buzzkill. Yeah, I didn't know Korean. I asked if Koreans are POC. God.
You know, Dan's in the bathroom. Let's just not do this right now.
I asked if Korean people are POCs.
I agree with Ethan here because sometimes, even in the clips that were just shown, pushing the button makes it seem what Ethan said was worse than it actually was.
The one time the button didn't work and we listened to how he spoke to AB.
Not AB and that button. You guys, it was the height of comedy when that button malfunctioned.
Without thinking that the internet was going to hear it. It was rude, it was nasty, and it didn't have this caveat of like, I'm not mad at you. It was anger, and it was uncalled for.
You've gotta be kidding me. I love how you have to take something so small and hype it up, trying to prove your point that Ethan is a monster of a boss when it was literally nothing.
Use they get access to cover most of
We're
it.
doing it.
What are you
Making it
doing?
so awkward and terrible.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Just like, this is what I'm talking about when it's always like...
We need to get home for our kids.
It's like, bro...
Oh no, I didn't want to finish it right now. I just I'm about finishing Wednesday.
On Friday at the movies. Is it?
You guys, like...
All right, I'm taking my hand off the...
What? Okay, well...
I heard all that.
Thanks, button.
And he didn't want to take accountability for it. He immediately wanted to deflect and he wanted to say that the button fucked him.
First of all, I appreciate the hard work.
I know you
you've
do,
done, and
I
I
know.
loved it, and I really enjoy it. But it's like every time we do it, it's like the show is what it is, and
I know.
it makes it.
I was being selfish.
No, dude, that button f***ed me, dude. Can you imagine that button f***ing me over like that?
That was hilarious.
The button fucked you?
Yes.
AB fucked you?
For
Who
sure.
fucked you? You fucked yourself by being an asshole.
Take
he
it
makes it
easy.
seem like he's not a tyrant of a boss.
You see, this is why I say if you don't like somebody, just say you don't like them. Is when you start fishing for things to justify you not liking the person, and then this is all you can come up with.
What are you
Making it
doing?
so awkward and terrible.
And now we're supposed to believe that Ethan is a tyrant? Really?
For doing it.
What are
Making
you
it
doing?
so awkward and terrible. I appreciate the hard work.
I know you
you've
do,
done, and
I
I
know.
loved it, and I really enjoy it.
Dan, his producer, is constantly clarifying things on the air and making it clear that what Ethan said was a joke, Ethan is being overly defensive, or he's saying things that are like not true and he's exaggerating.
Yeah, they had to add that on Dan's job description because people like you cannot tell when Ethan is joking. All right, so now they have to have a joke police over Ethan to clarify what's a joke and what's not a joke.
People saw that. They thought that that was what you searched to
I did
pull
not
up that
type
photo. So I'm just clarifying.
Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate you doing that. God forbid.
It's okay because I buttoned it.
Why?
Because
it's not that big of a deal, man.
Just your inability to.
No. Hold on, Dan. How does it change anything? People knowing that we did it.
It's fun when it's a surprise.
Okay, well,
Well, you just asked how it changed
Surprise
things.
them on your show.
Okay, all right.
Oh no, Dan, how dare Ethan speak to you like that? You should quit in this economy.
You know, I understand that that's his role, and he's, you know, Ethan's made that his job, or Dan's made it his job.
Right.
Ethan leans on it so heavily, in the same way that he leans on the button. Ethan is leaning on all of these people to be adults and look after his behavior and give all of this emotional and empathetic energy for Ethan, but Ethan refuses to give it back to them.
Tell me, how's Ethan supposed to do the same for them? You want Ethan to go on their podcast and stop them from saying things too? All right, H3 crew, can you guys employ Ethan on your podcast? Make him the researcher or producer? Please, someone?
Also, let's talk about AB and Lena, 2 Lebanese employees, and you just continue to talk about the conflict like they don't exist. It would be nicer, a lot nicer, for you to shut the fuck up about it. You're allowed to do that.
But why are you telling Ethan to be quiet on his own show? You're making AB and Lena have a problem that they never said they had. Because every time I watch, I know at least I see AB speaking up when he wants to speak up. As a matter of fact, a lot of times I see Ethan and Hila encouraging AB to speak up. So again, you're seeing problems that they don't see.
Hezbollah in Syria alone killed double that much. All right, I'm going to move on. I just want to play Hassan talking about bad empanada.
Ethan doesn't want to change, and he wants to bring the entire crew down with him.
Down where?
Because he's putting them in this position every day, right? But it's more important that he gets this shit off his chest. It's more important that he dumps.
It's like a 3-4 hour podcast. He can devote whatever portion amount of time to speak about what he wants to talk about on his own show.
We're all familiar with Goblin Mode. Well, Ethan debuted a new mode recently.
And by the way, my ratio is pretty good. Like, I'm looking at like 20 goblin modes to 1 too far. Demon mode, let's call it.
Dun dun dun.
What makes Demon Mode different than Goblin Mode is
Ethan's
goblins
Illuminati
aren't really
now?
like an intimidating, powerful force. If the goblin is persistent, it can get what it wants.
When I'm done with the other one, the big one that's dropping probably next week, my full attention is going to you, George. Like the Eye of Sauron. I see you. I see you out there, you fucking cockroach.
Ethan, the reason the internet got behind you when you were being sued by Matt Haas or when you were being sued by Ryan Kavanaugh is because people saw you as the underdog. They saw you as the guy who's defending the common man.
I'm suing, and I cannot wait for you guys to read it. At the moment, we are writing 3 complaints for 3 people.
Oh yeah? What did they do?
You are doing the classic rich asshole thing. You have a deficit of friends, you have a surplus of enemies. You feel really bad, you feel hurt, but you also have a surplus of money. So what can you do? You can use that money to bully and intimidate people. These public legal threats that you're making to fellow creators, these legal threats that you're making to people on Reddit, on Twitter, you're like, I'm hurt. These people are hurting me. What do I do to stop it? There's nothing I can do to stop it. I'm powerless. No, you have a ton of power, you have a ton of options, you have a ton of choice. That's exactly what you get for being filthy rich, is you can do all of these things.
I've never want to sue someone for defamation, but like at what point do you kind of fucking have to? I mean, this is like basically someone calling you a pedophile. Be like, yeah, you know, Ethan's a pedophile.
Dan Clancy or whatever, like the CEO of Twitch, and being
Pedophile. Dan kicked K. Clancy has a similar view on Twitter. Because Dan Clancy, the Nazi, fucking anti. There are certain things you can accuse people of that rise above to make it like actionable, which is like wrongfully accusing someone of being a pedophile, a sex criminal, a murderer, shit like that. Dan Clancy now, in other words, he is a pedophile.
You have so much less to go off of saying that than anybody has about
based
Dream.
on his looks. Just based on his
Well,
looks.
at least you're self-aware.
That's 100% a joke. I have no evidence to conclude that he is.
One of the more notable legal threats that Ethan has sent out recently is against Noah Samson.
I have nothing but vibes to gain, and potentially your money as well. Don't worry if you don't have it all now. I'll garnish your wages. You're going to be living with your parents for a lot longer, buddy. 26, you know what I mean? Try 46.
Noah made a video that was critical of Ethan and other content creators when they're talking about Israel and Palestine. I mean, the way he's talking about Noah on his podcast is so fucking creepy and weird.
Is this a new thing?
This is a new thing. This happened during the show. Upon initial examination, it seems to check out, and it's not great for young Noah.
Can I say that? Don't say it yet.
I'll say it.
So he's so of course his standard, I don't know what he's accused of, so I'm not actually going to say, but
Ethan brought on a former partner of Noah to basically just shit talk him and say that he's a bad partner. But that's all that Ethan was able to extract out of it.
Okay, so what's the problem?
you are not accusing him of committing any crimes or doing R-word or anything like that. The accusation is that he's a sleaze.
Absolutely. Noah
Yeah.
Samson, as far as I know, is not a rapist.
Fuck you to Noah Samson, who's not just a liar and a scumbag, but also a creep, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Now let's talk about the left-leaning Democrat.
He presents himself as someone like me, a left-leaning Democrat who supports basic things.
The thing that made me start to question Ethan's intentions is that when he was suggested to talk to Sam Cedar, a fellow progressive, a guy that Ethan respects and looks up to.
He works with Sam Cedar at the Majority Report. I respect him and what they do there.
He kept saying that it was racist or anti-Semitic to suggest that he talked to someone who's within the same ethnic group as him.
That's why I said yesterday, I urge Ethan to talk to Sam Cedar. There are very thoughtful, very kind anti-Zionist Jews out there.
So I have a video idea that I've had for a while, and I've been saving clips in preparation for it if I ever do get around to it. But basically, it's about how Ethan and Hassan's friendship fell apart. I remember the exact moment it happened, so maybe in the future I will finish that video. I should say start that video.
To even say that.
It's not motivated by myself. It's motivated by Jews against anti-Zionist Jews.
Seriously, how can you speak for my entire ethnic group? I find that really interesting.
Ethan, I don't know what to fucking tell you. This is like step one of having a leftist ideology, is recognizing our race, religion, nationality, all this shit, all shape our experiences as people.
That's the reason why it'd be better served to have this conversation not with myself, but with an anti-Zionist Jewish person.
Why does it matter if they're Jewish?
Because I'm not Jewish, and you've said in this conversation that, how can you tell me how to feel about the situation?
Yeah, but how is one person a representative of Jews at large? I'm just telling you how Jewish people around the world interpret that phrase.
So yes, Ethan, on occasion you might be suggested to talk to someone who has some crossover with you. It doesn't have to be your ethnicity. It could possibly be someone who shares progressive ideology with you. It could possibly be someone who is of your same gender. I think Ethan understands this concept very well. He listened to these women on his show when they told him that he shouldn't be calling women bitches.
This bitch is intolerable. You are such a nasty fucking bitch, Ken.
I don't know if you can call her a bitch, though.
She is a bitch. She's a
what do you-
fucking bitch.
okay,
You're right.
I'm
I call her a see you next Tuesday.
Listen, you have
I'm curious, what do Lena and Sam think about it?
I wouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah.
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 I feel like that it's for the girlies, Ethan. But I
So
agree.
you guys all seem to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
in consensus that
We
it's in
are.
poor form. I think to respect the women here in the room, I'm going to have to pass on saying that.
To me, it looks like this was an ongoing discussion that has happened off camera in the H3 crew office, and they purposely brought that argument on air. It was set up for Ethan to say the B word, and then to have it as a discussion, and then to have them vote on whether or not he should continue using the word. So I don't know why Ian is using this clip in a negative fashion when it's something positive. Ethan had already gone on this journey where he was starting to cut out the B word.
People suddenly come for me. If you're gonna come for me, just say my name. Jeff White from the
for
Vlog
me,
Squad
bitch.
like that too. Last year, people don't say my name, but they like to insinuate, oh,
Yes.
this person talking.
Come.
Just
Say it, bitch. Wait, I don't want to call her a bitch because that's rude. So what if I call her a batch?
A word or rude.
Batch.
A bitch isn't a rude word.
I guess it depends how you use it.
Yeah.
I don't like calling women bitch because it feels very chauvinistic.
Maybe from a guy.
But if I say batch, come for me, batch, that's okay.
Batch.
Batch.
And then he brought it back.
The infantilization of Ethan Klein is fucking nauseating. He's not a child. He's absolutely capable of looking into Hassan, learning about his politics, interviewing, doing loads of things to figure out where he stands.
He presents himself as someone like me, a left-leaning Democrat who supports basic things. And for the first time, I noticed an inordinate amount of radical, hardcore leftists. I mean, I thought we were social democrats, not whatever this was. This comment from Hassan really started to sound some alarms in my head. I was already getting uncomfortable with our partnership. I started to wonder if I had any idea who this guy actually is.
Funny that Ethan said that in this video because really, Ethan had no idea who Hassan was. I believe it. Ethan sat next to Trisha for almost a year and it was the same thing. He didn't know who Trisha was either. So yeah, Ethan really and truly had no idea who Hassan was.
You made how many episodes with Hassan? Like, this guy made a fucking program with the biggest mega leftist on the platform. Now he's acting like he was tricked and he was incapable of figuring out what this guy's beliefs were.
It is what
I
it
didn't
is.
make the fucking leftist program. You did. You made fucking, 60 some odd episodes of this shit for hours talking to this guy? You didn't have a problem with any of it until,
You guys already know I had a video in 2022 saying that I foresee a breakup between Ethan and Hassan.
Oh, Hassan has COVID.
Oh, right, that.
So I don't know. Is there any way to do an episode on Thursday, or did you hear anything back from that, Dan?
I did.
No. So Thursday there's no show because Hassan got COVID. I think he's avoiding me, if you ask me.
I don't think this is a joke. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. Could be nothing. You guys, come on, pick up what they're throwing down. So we're gonna keep an eye on leftovers with Ethan and Hassan. And I'm telling you, Ethan did not know who Hassan was and how their ideas didn't align even before October 2023.
Ethan talks about being aware of Hassan's 9/11 comments and then sort of leaves it at that. Like it was just a joke. Actually, I think Ethan describes them as edgy moments or jokes.
You might remember him from such classics as
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it, I'm saying it.
Now, to be clear, I knew about all these edgy and controversial jokes at the time we made the show together, because who am I to judge?
No, Ethan, those aren't jokes, right? When someone makes a controversial statement like that, that's not them trying to be funny. I can understand why you would conflate the two. That is someone who is extremely frustrated and passionate about a particular topic. In this case, American imperialism and terrorism. You could have looked into that. You could have talked to Hassan a little bit more and found out what his international politics opinions are, but you wouldn't even need to do that.
I don't know, but maybe Ethan would say that even through talking to Hassan, he thought they were aligned. But in actuality, they weren't.
You can look at it online. You're not a victim. You weren't tricked. You made 60 some odd episodes. If you didn't want to go down this route, you shouldn't have done it. But that was your fucking choice. You did it. You are an adult.
Streamers are online, 7 hours a day? It's hard for people to actually watch everything a streamer is going to do and say to even get them pinned down on an idea.
When Ethan and Hila are watching Matt Lieb saying that one state doesn't represent all Jews, another thing I need to mention. There was a tier list. It was called the Who Can Say Habibi tier list. It was presented at TwitchCon as a panel that was just meant to be lighthearted and fun. And Ethan Klein saw that, and he decided that it was anti-Semitic.
Tier list them, and we're going to need your help to discuss and figure out who can say Habibi and who can't.
And also, like, we have tiers. We have Arab coded. They ask permission to say Habibi. You know, like you got like a white guy's like, can I say it? Is it slurs? And then Love Sabra, which is they're not Arab coded at all.
Now, when I first saw this tier list, I immediately knew what it was doing. I was like,
I would put him also in Arab. I know Turkish people are different.
Notice how they dropped the premise almost immediately that it's about who can say Habibi. And then it's like Hassan, okay, actually he's Arab. We fucking love him. He's dope. He's Arab.
Habibi is an Arabic word. That is an Arabic word, Ethan.
Funny about this whole thing is that they say Habibi in Israel. Again, people underestimate just how like mixed Israeli culture is. Like
we say Habibi in Israel. Yes, Ethan. Another piece of evidence as to why it isn't anti-Semitic.
This is racist.
If you're not Arab or understand Arab culture at all, which is a lot of Americans, and Ethan Klein presents you this tier list and calls it anti-Semitic, you're just gonna eat it up. It's not. Ethan is just proving his location on this tier list under Love Sabra because he doesn't understand Arab culture.
Ethan writes, if you are on the left and you can't understand why these people were suspended, okay, you are hopelessly lost. We, yes, I'm on the left, look like giant hypocrites when we look the other way when our own are being racist and bigots. Yeah, okay, so if these people got suspended, take it up with Twitch.
There's a lot of Arabs who eat sabra. There's a lot of people like me who eat sabra. A lot of the times it's all that's in the store, and I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna eat it, but it is not the good shit. Like on you. There's this incident on the podcast where they were reacting to Cutie Cinderella, and Ethan was laughing during it.
I have to admit, Ethan walked himself into that mess. Nobody dragged him there.
So that ended up being a pretty important wake-up call for Ethan. He made an apology video directed at Cutie Cinderella, and it was graded by a professional psychologist, Dr. Kirk Honda of Psychology in Seattle, and Ethan got an A+ rating.
A+! Big up Ethan! I kind of missed this story arc, but Ethan, you got an A+. I did not watch your apology video, but I am sure you deserved it. One thing about Ethan is when he's sorry, I'm telling you, he knows how to apologize. I'm glad a psychologist recognized your authenticity, your genuine spirit, your sincerity, Ethan. I'm not surprised at all.
In terms of a public apology, this is A+.
Ethan won't stop talking about his A+ rating.
You know he rated my apology to Cutie Cinderella a perfect score? A perfect 10.
A perfect 10 out of 10?
Literally 10 out of 10. Go back. I can teach you how to make a good apology. I'm the best at it.
10 out of 10.
I know what a perfect apology is, lady. You fucking don't. Is my perfect apology in this PowerPoint? Dude, I got a perfect 10 out of 10. This one's actually best apology.
Yo, is he gonna stop?
Ethan Klein, you guys, oh my God.
I was trying really hard to think about an impactful moment during this video. Like, could I do something that would really wake Ethan up? And I don't know if this came from a good place or not, but I came up with the idea of getting Ethan's grade changed from an A to a B at least.
Oh man, this guy's a special type of hater, huh?
So I went to visit Psychology in Seattle. I'm not confident that Kirk will change his grade, but it's worth trying, and, you know, we might learn a thing or two.
Xander! Probably get pretty low marks. Unlike me, perfect score, 10. I said, hey, Lud, no wig drama. Why are you such a spineless coward of a person now that you've inserted yourself and your girlfriend into this conversation?
Okay, Idubbbz'S, I hear you. You're in the room with me right now. I hear you. I hear your request. I understand it. I can understand where it's coming from. And I guess have a policy that when there is a grade for an apology, I am just grading that discrete apology as I see it without taking any consideration of prior or future behavior. If you're wanting me to comment on the overall behavior or the recent behavior from the clips that you have shown me, I believe that Ethan is a good person and that eventually he will feel sorrow and will feel sorry and will apologize, and I will be there to evaluate that apology when it happens, which I know it will.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks! Unfortunately, Kirk did not change his grade, but that's okay because this is the internet, anyone can have their own official apology rating system. So I'm going to rate Ethan's apology a B-. That's just based on my own feelings and my own rubric.
So apparently Idubbbz's apology was graded a B, and so you have the nerve to give Ethan's excellent apology a B-? So what, you're telling me we have to go use you as the standard? You, the person who found empathy like a year or two ago? No, that's not gonna happen.
When Psychology in Seattle was watching these video clips of Ethan, he said that it looks like Ethan could just use a hug. Now, of course, it kind of pisses me off to hear that shit, because I'm like, what are we doing? What are we saying? He needs a hug? No, he doesn't need a hug. He needs a good fucking ass whooping is what he needs.
Look at that punch. You, Sir Ian, are a tyrant of a friend. A tyrant you are.
I think something that's very important to me in bringing back Content Cop is to be fair. I think that was something that was not illustrated in previous Content Cops that I think should have been, and probably wouldn't have left me with so much regret. Ethan deserves all of the criticism that he's getting. I think it's very valid. But I also think, at the end of the day, we should acknowledge that he's human, because he is human.
Oh! Can you imagine all this time, all Ethan and Hila wanted to do is for Ian and Anissa to at least say they're good friends, they're good parents, they're good pet owners, they're good creators. The most he can fix his lips to say is that Ethan is a human. How's that different from anybody else? Some nerve you have, and you were calling yourself Ethan's friend. So if Ethan didn't distance himself from you, you would have still carried that label? I'm glad Ethan kicked you guys to the curb, metaphorically speaking.
And he is in a situation that's making him extremely scared, paranoid, defensive, sensitive, and I'm sure other features and feelings.
Look at his face. Look at that face. Look at that smirk. He's here saying that Ethan is paranoid, sensitive, defensive, and he has a smirk on his face. Is that a friend? You guys tell me. The friend is acknowledging all the horrible stuff you're going through, and he can't even keep a smile off his face. Can't even say anything good about you. The best thing he could say about you is that you're a human. My doctor can say that about me, and my doctor's not my friend. I expect my friend to say more about my character.
In the spirit of Kirk saying that it looks like Ethan could just use a hug, I have challenged some of his most powerful haters to put down the haterade and just say something nice and charitable about him.
Why should his haters say something nice about him when you were his friend and you can't say anything nice about him? All you can say is that he's a human. And I don't even think you're sure about that. But why? Why?
Because I think he deserves it.
And this is what I call the setup. He said Ethan deserves it. And we know, right? We've been watching. He doesn't think Ethan deserves any nice things. And if you watch this, you already know that these guys can't find anything nice to say about Ethan. Never mind that Hassan couldn't even put his face on the screen to say something nice about Ethan.
I just wanted to say that I respect that you are
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know you,
yourself
but same to you. If you don't like
I think a
Ethan,
lot
do
of
as
other people
Hassan,
respect
just
you for
get
it as
off the
well.
screen.
I think that's a big reason why people were drawn to your content in the first place. I think that's a lot of the reason why your employees chose to work with you over anyone else.
Ethan, I think
This guy's a follower, and he already said if he knew that everybody else was saying bad things about Ethan or giving Ethan backhanded compliments, he would have done the same. So he can go off the
when you are
screen.
being goofy, when you're being silly,
This
when
guy,
you are being
he can go off the screen as well.
and just having fun with your friends, I think that is when you're at your best. So I'd love to see more of that. That'd be sick.
I will be reading my letter off because I don't want to sound robotic. H3 used to be the sports figure that I used to
Okay, look,
watch.
you're
I hope
very
that one day gets
thoughtful.
back
You
to
put
what
your
I
words
remember.
together
You're one
so
of the
you know
inspirations
exactly
for me
what
to
you
start
wanted to
creating
say, but
content, so all this
please
has come.
find yourself
I hope
off
you
the
really
screen
hear
as
this
well.
and I wish you the best.
I think Ethan Klein rocks a buzz cut pretty good. And I think he's got a good
Ethan's about to
choice of
sue
facial
you,
hair.
I'm hearing, so
really cool what he
I'm not
did
mad
8
at
years
you.
ago,
Give
fighting
one
that,
last Hail
frivolous
Mary.
lawsuit.
Maybe Ethan will have mercy on you. I'm not mad at you, but you still did a horrible job.
I thought it was like he was fighting for free speech.
You know, I also see the dynamic of Ethan and Hila. Like,
Get this guy off my screen.
It's really hard to be a couple online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, like if you come to their defense, that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them.
He doesn't even know the one person you're supposed to stand up for is your wife, and vice versa. These two don't even know how to do that. No wonder you guys don't like Ethan and Hila. That's where the jealousy comes from. You think Ethan doesn't know he's supposed to stand up for his wife? You think Ethan had to have someone tell him that's what you're supposed to do? Even when I used to think Ethan was going too far, Hila would be on the show the next day backing up everything Ethan said. So I never had problem with those two because they're always on the same page.
And I have been kind of slipping into a very unhealthy place where it's gotten worse and worse, and I get criticized more and more, and I get more defensive and more hold up, a feeling of almost infallibility that I could take anything on. It led me to make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
and then when I was criticized
and see,
for
whatever
those
Ethan's
mistakes,
saying right
then I
here,
would
yeah,
act
Ethan hasn't
extremely
changed either.
Defensive and nasty and not really processing them in a healthy way.
Ethan is still that same person, and you, Ian, you're still the same person you always were. But I have to tell you, with all of the Ethan edits in your video, this was the funniest content cop ever.